this quarterback situation, any national championship quarterback is going to come back and he's got the job and he's good to go. Now, I don't know if that's the way it's going to be at Georgia. I don't know what Kirby Smart has had to say, but obviously he's got a line of 4 and 5 stars behind him. How do you think this is going to play out or should play out?
Well, I mean, anybody in their right mind would probably go with Stetson because he won the national championship last year. But there is still, a small percentage of people that want to see Brock Vandagriff, Gunnar Stockton, and even I'm blanking. Why am I blanking?
Carson Beck.
Carson Beck, thank you. Who I'm still kind of surprised is still in Athens. I expected him to kind of transfer out, but there is still people who I think would transfer by the end of spring. So he could be somebody like that could. Worst case scenario, if Stetson gets hurt or something, then we could probably see Brock or one of them kind of come in. But to flat out say that one of them could beat Stetson right now, I think is a hard to sell, because Stetson has won the offense over. These wide receivers that are coming back all know and trust Stetson, and Stetson trusts them to catch the ball and everything. And so I think Stetson is your guy right now. And until he proves otherwise, I don't think Kirby Smart should change that situation at all. Stetson is a starting quarterback. Stetson has the leadership skills and the tenacity and the grit that you want out of somebody. Just because he isn't 6'4" and have a bomb of an arm, it doesn't matter. That kid's running the offense like he should.
So, Savannah, when you look at the other guys, it's impossible to tell at this point. Carson Beck's been out there 23 attempts last year, but besides that, garbage time. And with Brock and with Gunnar, nothing to go on. Obviously, they've got a ton of talent. Do you have a preference, based on what you've seen, based on what you heard? Does the fan base have a preference in regards to, we think this guy is the next guy?
A lot of people are leaning heavily on Brock right now because he is the one that Coach Donnan, who formerly coached at Georgia, but he also goes on the UJ Sports podcast and does a lot of stuff. He loves talking about him in practice and how good he's doing. And he's another quarterback that's really high IQ, really knows the game, coach's son. And so he's somebody that I think is going to be the next in line. He's got the speed with his legs. He's a, kind of a dual threat, but he's got a stronger arm than Stetson, in my opinion. And he's bigger. He's 6'2", 6'3", or something like that. And even though he played at a 1A private school, I think he's going to be somebody that's the next guy. And the best thing about him and Gunnar, if we're talking about both of them, is that neither one of them are really prima donnas. They don't really care. Not that they don't care. I know they want to play and stuff, but they're more about being a part of a team and learning and growing. And when their time comes, then take advantage of it. Because we've seen it only takes 1 or 2 seasons to impress NFL scouts enough to draft somebody. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. Brock was really somebody on the scout team last year that came up and, impressed a lot. I don't think Carson's got a lot of work to do. When he threw that interception in one of the games last year and didn't try to run down the guy to tackle him, was a big sign of where he was in terms of the lineup. And I think they didn't really give Brock a chance then because he was still so young. But this spring is going to be huge for that backup position, because I think you're going to see Carson and Brock kind of battling it out for the backup spot. And if Carson isn't careful, Gunnar could really come in and do so, because that kid just rewrote the Georgia record books in terms of running and even throwing. So I'm excited about Gunnar. Haven't really got to see too much on him since he's got to campus, but they are all good things so far as coming out of Athens.